sure he knows what to do. It frustrates me that they got someone like Juan Mata on the bench.
Can I just say, that lovely warmth that I've just done to you then
Wasn't live.
Hello, you okay? How you doing? My name is Joe, and this is our kid, and we are here with your phone in. This is brand new for Full Time Devils. Well, you might have seen this every Thursday last season and the season before that. We have a chat about United, and we chat to you and so much more. So we will be doing that over the next couple of weeks. We are live. It's all about you having your say. 0345 111 7625. Come and give us a call. We're here for the next hour. We can get you on. We can get you to say your opinion on Ollie, on the players, on so much more. If you want to have your say, the time is now to give us a call. 0345 111 7625. We'll digest the game as well, but it's up to you to just come and have a chat with us. We've got you on the phone lines here. You can say whatever you want and make sure that you get your opinion across to the United fanzine channels. Our kid. We had a little chat just then. We weren't live, so let's have a little chat again. It was a defeat for Manchester United. It wasn't the best. It's 1-0 against Bournemouth. How do you sum it up?
It's back to normal services resumed for me. I think we got ahead of ourselves with the Liverpool game. We were expected to beat Norwich from where they are in the league and what they're doing this season. But it's just going to be our season is going to rely on it's going to depend on our lack of creativity. Pereira was woeful today. Fred had a bad game. McTominay's probably his worst game in the United shirt. I don't think he had a terrible game. But you got a feel for the likes of Martial and Rashford up front because they're just not getting any supply through. Solskjaer brought Lingard on for Pereira about 65 minutes. And it's just like for like. I don't know why Juan Mata's on the bench. He's the only player that's in the team that can pick out a pass. He's not the fastest, but when you've tried something for 65 minutes, it's not working. You change it. You don't go for more of the same. It was nice. Greenwood came on and hit the post. I thought we might get back into the game there. But once Bournemouth went 1-0 up, it was just. We're always going to struggle to score goals at United. It sort of feels like we've reached our level now. We're worse than Bournemouth and better than Norwich, and that's where we are. But get involved anyway in Full Time. We want to hear your points of view.
Exactly. Me and our kid here for the next 45 minutes, just taking your calls. I mean, calls are coming in thick and fast. I think Mike will be on now. Actually, let's get to Mike straight away. Hello, Mike. Can you hear us, Mike? Mike? I don't know if Mike can hear us. Mike, you're on Full Time Devils. Can you hear us, Mike? Mike. Are you there, Mike? Don't know if Mike can hear us. Mike, can you hear us?
Talk to me.
Yeah, what do you mean we're talking to you, Mike? Mike, we're talking to you. Yeah, you got online. You've called up Full Time Devils, and then you're surprised that we're speaking to you, Mike. Mike, you're off.
You got the name wrong.
I thought it says Mike here. Sorry, what's your name? Right, so you're the first caller on Full Time Devils today after the Bournemouth defeat. You take the lead here, mate. What do you want to say?
I mean, I was watching the game by myself. I was on my phone most of the game because there was nothing to really watch. Because, I don't understand. I was watching the last 10 minutes. I was liking what I was seeing, in terms of we're getting in behind them, we're turning them round. Martial and Rashford were, trying to stretch the line a bit, the back line. But I don't understand why it takes us that long to actually test the defence. I don't understand.
Do you think do you think certain players didn't perform today?
Oh, sorry.
Do you think certain players didn't perform today? For me, it was with the real lack of how bad the weather was. I was surprised that they weren't taking more shots on from early doors, like you were saying. They should have been testing the keeper in defence from the off. The lack of urgency today for me was pretty bad.
It's true. I think when we got the ball in midfield, I think Fred played all right today. McTominay played all right. It's just when they had that little one touch around the corner, getting James in, then it just stopped for some reason. I think Bournemouth figured out what we was doing, kind of thing. But then we kind of adapt in games and kind of just getting behind a bit more, being to stretch. We don't get crosses in. Like the old United would just get crosses in, bombard the flipping back four, and just there's no striker movement. Like Martial, Rashford saw at one point there were two of them in the box, and there was no balls going into them. It's just it was terrible.
So would you suggest that, I mean, in terms of what a lot of people are saying on the comments here, you can comment as well as getting you calling Pabas, because make sure you have your say, because this is what we're going to do now for a lot of the games this season. Would you suggest then that it was certain players not performing too well, or is it the tactics that sort of Ollie set them out in? It's a good run of form here. Do you not think they could have really capitalised on it?
I think, with the 3 in a row that we've just had, I think the Europa League game is only 1-0. We didn't really create much. The Norwich game I was quite happy with in terms of Martial and Rashford, the movement between them two. But I think with it being such a young team, consistency is a big factor. and it's hard to get a run of form where they're consistent. Our front three are all 25 and under or 24 and under. It's hard to get experience and know-how in there. They don't know how to consistently have that attack in play. Yeah. Obviously, Solskjaer has the good intentions for them, but it's hard for them to actually get to that position.
Cheers for your call, mate. You were the first caller on today's Full-Time Devils Takeover on XS Manchester with XS Manchester. We're going to speak to Sam now as well, who's in America. Hello, Sam. Oh, turn your YouTube video down in the background if you can.
Sorry?
Oh, no, sorry, I'm just hearing a bit of an echo. Sam, you're on Full-Time Devils. Let us know what you're thinking about that game. United got beat by Bournemouth 1-0.
Exactly, yeah. So, honestly, I'm on a road trip, so I was listening to it on the radio, MUTV. But, we think of them. But, look, I thought that when I first saw the lineup, I thought it was going to be 4-2-3-1. Which worries me because, over the start of this season especially, we've struggled to break those teams down that sit deep and play on the counterattack. I think in terms of the way that Pereira and Fred play in the midfield, those are the two biggest players that are going to determine the type of result we get. It sounded like we got off to a half-decent start, but then Bournemouth just started to shut us out and control it. Not quite sure what happened with Juan Bissaka, if, lapse in concentration or a miss kick. Yep. But look, it's just unacceptable. To have a chance of making top 6, let alone top 4, we are going to need 12 points out of these next 4 games in the league. And it's looking like the Europa League is going to be much more important than it should be, especially this early in the season.
So what are you saying this time? You think Europa League might be a way of getting Champions League football for United?
I think it's the only way. Look, it's painful to say that we play a lot of young players in the Europa League, and especially for Solskjaer, that's a lot of pressure that those players should not be dealing with this early in their careers and at this age. And I think honestly, for Solskjaer, if this isn't the way I want it to be, but if he wants to have his job at the end of the season under the scrutiny of the board and Woodward, we need to qualify for Champions League, or else we're back to square one.
Wait, it was his decision to get rid of the players like Herrera, Fellaini and Lukaku. I know we've got a young squad, but he needs to take responsibility for doing that. Before the season started, I think towards the end of last season, when we confirmed for Europa League place, Solskjaer came out and said it would be something that he'll be using the young players for, because I think he was under the impression that we would be challenging for top 4. But what do you think of Martial and Rashford as a pairing? For me today, they look like they were getting on top of each other because they both prefer to play down the left-hand side. Is that something? Do we need to improve there in January?
It's I think that's an issue that stems from the midfield, because once again, when Rashford doesn't have space to run into, he struggles. And I think yes, we need more depth at striker, but more importantly, especially with Pogba injured and we don't know what kind of mood he's in, if he's going to turn up for matches, we need to improve in the attacking midfield position. I think we'd be perfectly fine if we had McTominay playing that transitional defensive midfield role, Pogba as a holding midfielder who can get forward, and then a James Maddison or a Bruno Fernandes, apparently he's had his medical, playing that creative 10 role. And I think once we just start getting in more quality balls and service in there, the goals will start coming. We're fine at the back. I just think we just need to build on it.
Sam, thank you very much for your call. Sam got in touch with us. This is the Full-Time Devils Takeover, the phone-in that we're going to be doing after every single United game, me and our kid, just having a chat about the result. It's not gone our way today. And unfortunately, that means that you're going to give us a call and they might not be too positive. So if you want to get your negative thoughts out, come and give us a call now and get online and get your voices heard to the United fans. If you've got positives you want to take from the game as well, do the same thing. Sam, we're calling all the way from America. Thank you very much. We'll talk about our own personal thoughts here, me and our kid, but we're going to go to Mohammed, who's on the line. Before Mohammed comes and says hello, by the way, the number is 0345 111 7625. 0345 111 7625. Should be in the description, but I'm putting it in to the comments now. Mohammed, the game against Bournemouth, getting beat 1-0. What is your thoughts?
I think if you watch that game, and I know a lot of people don't share my opinion, but I believe you put Pogba where Pereira was, and he would do so much better. The passing quality Pogba has, if you put him where Pereira is, as that cam role, he would influence the game more than Pereira did. he made so many rubbish passes to Martial. He was disjointed, and I think that's what really cost us, lack of creativity. If Pogba was there, I think we'd do better.
So you're saying that Pogba changes that game?
I think he does. I think the reason when Pogba plays like a Fred role or like a holding midfielder, he is poor, and that's when you can criticise him for not getting involved in the game, because all he does is a back pass to Maguire or a pass to Wan-Bissaka. I think if you put him in a cam role, he just flourishes.
Yeah, but surely this is the team that got a great result against Liverpool and turned over Norwich the other night. That 11 today should be going to Bournemouth with respect to Bournemouth and getting the 3 points with or without Paul Pogba. And to say that Paul Pogba would play well in that position, I completely agree with you. But out of maybe the 5 great appearances that he's had over his time at Man United, I wouldn't be holding that place for him, really. But I agree with you, Pereira had a really, really bad game. And I think Solskjaer needs to be looking at other plans. What did you make of the Bournemouth goal?
I think it was a good goal. It was a good goal. I would say defending wise, like Wan-Bissaka should do better and stay off him, because he comes close, he just gets turned, and that's just a poor defender, to be fair. But I think him go defensive wise, Wan-Bissaka, he's one of the best. When he's a one-on-one, I'm never worried. But when it comes to going forward, he's not all that. You can improve on that.
What about the defence today, mate? Was it lacking? I mean, the goal from Bournemouth, you might say, was a bit sloppy. What did you make of it yourself?
Overall, it wasn't that bad. I think the goal came very... I wouldn't say lucky, because it was a good goal, but we should do better to get that ball away.
Mohammed, thank you very much for your call. Listen, 0345 111 7625. Come and have a chat with us. We're here till about 3:30. It's about half an hour left of this chat. And if you want to have your say, it's so important you do so now. 0345 111 7625. Dan is in Blackburn. Are you still in Blackburn, Dan? I've got Dan in Blackburn here.
I am, yes.
How is it in Blackburn, and how is it taking that 1-0 defeat?
Cold, wet and depressing.
Tell us about your experience of that game. It wasn't exactly wonderful, was it?
No, but I mean, what else can we expect at this point? I mean, one of the points is what I was going to make is from previous things that we've done. I've always felt like we've sort of chucked the baby out with the bathwater. All this play the youth. I just think that people got obsessed with it so much that we were just throwing away players that were still useful to us and, could have done a good job. Just in this mindset of youth, and I don't know if it's people who are too young to have remembered, but the youth, yes, we did have a period of time where we brought through all them players, but in the last 20 years, we haven't produced 2 players out of our youth academy that have actually gone on to do anything. So why would people presume that we would have 5 or 6 players coming through in 1 year or 2 years? It just seemed just mental to me. I just don't know why we got rid of all the players we did. Why not just keep them? If the young players are good enough, they'll push them players out of the team. But don't just throw them all out and then just go, right, let's see what will happen with these guys.
Yeah.
You can see what's happened.
I'm going to bring in Franklin here. He's calling from Spain. Stay there for us, Dan. Franklin, how you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you for your call. It's Full-Time Devils, 0345 111 7625. Load your call in and we're going to try and get to your points. I'm going to speak about what you thought of the game, Franklin, and then we're going to Dan's point about the youth. Franklin, what did you make of that?
Yes, sir. I just think when Ole came and he was talking about youth, sometimes I ask myself, what youth is he talking about? Because if you remember quite all right, if you follow Man United youth very well, you understand that we've been relegated from the under-23. We were relegated. And every time he keep coming back, he's talking about the youth. Because when you look at youth structure, you look at Liverpool versus Arsenal. We saw youth, what youth did for Liverpool. Chelsea, we saw youths. And every time you keep coming back talking about you. Our youth are not good enough. I'm sorry. Angel Gomez, potential. Chongi, not good enough. Yeah, Greenwood, I would go with Greenwood. But we really don't have the squad. But this man came talking about youth, and we don't have the player. At the same time, we don't have the player, we don't have the coach with the technical know-how. how to manage a team, because everything that has been done in the club right now is based on sentiment. You and I.
Oh, Franklin, you still there? Oh, one second. Franklin's just having a bit of a...
I agree with Franklin and Dan, though, in terms of our youth setup. Obviously, we're renowned for the 92, but them players that came in didn't just come in straight to a team that didn't have anyone around them to build their confidence and their ability. And we have got good young players, but we did Solskjaer. It's going to be it could be the undoing of Solskjaer by him standing by this youth policy, because we have got potential, and we need more than that to go into the season and to have any sort of success out of it.
We do, right. So the callers keep coming them in. We're just having one little issue with the call lines there, but don't worry about that. We'll be sound. We're going to chat about Ollie's way of doing things. Obviously, coming off the back of it, our kid, with a couple of good victories, you'd think, obviously, against Norwich in the Europa League. Did he get it right today in what he set up? He obviously started with the same starting 11. Do you think that maybe... I mean, the likes of Young, who's still in there, Pereira, are they right for United right now?
I'm not too sure Pereira is. I think Ashley Young is playing just purely out because Luke Shaw's injured and he doesn't want to put Bradley Williams in so early, although he did have a fantastic game against Chelsea the other night. His strategy, I've been one of Solskjaer's biggest critics. If you follow me online, you'll know that. But I thought against the Liverpool game, Norwich and Chelsea, that I was sort of warming towards his strategy. But today, I didn't see any plan B, and it's important that when you're playing teams like Bournemouth that are more difficult to break down because they're not hitting you, they're not as open as Liverpool, then we need to come at it from another angle. And he really fell short today for that.
I thought the same as well. And when I was looking at the United team, when they go 1-0 down against Bournemouth, there wasn't that urgency in the second half to get the equaliser. And there we go. We didn't get the equaliser. United stayed in that 1-0 position. Is it someone in the team leading them to that, the fight? Is it someone like a captain that needs to push this team forward? Because obviously the captain at the minute isn't doing the right job. If say Roy Keane or even a sort of Ferdinand was on the pitch and he's got the captain's armband, you're 1-0 down against Bournemouth, I believe that he'd be, doing everything he can to push the team forward. Is it that sort of urgency and leadership United need?
Yeah, I mean, the only time I saw urgency was, and again, I'm one of Lingard's critics, is that when he came on the pitch, he did offer a bit more energy. But for leaders this season in the team, it would probably be Scott McTominay if it's coming from anywhere. Maybe not from his personality, but just through his performances on the pitch. I think today, October, he got the player of the month for United on the second month on the bounce. But yeah, we do lack that sort of leadership, but that's going to come from having such a team with young players, to be honest.
Yeah, loads you're watching, loads of you getting in touch as well. We'll get to more of your comments as they come in, so make sure you get them down. I'll be reading them out in a second, and some calls coming in as well. In terms of you, who gave a performance for you, our kid, that you think was up there as a United standard, or did anyone give a performance that way?
It was pretty disappointing across the board, to be honest. I'd be clutching at straws to try and get a great performance. Thought Greenwood did well when he came on. Obviously, he hit the post, but it's the knock-on effect. I think there was a bit of a mix-up in the goal between Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka. Aside from that, I think maybe the defence was pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to get beat 1-0 at Bournemouth and then come away and start looking at positives, to be honest, unfortunately.
We have got an all right run in November, and I'd love to have your thoughts on this. November is quite the fixture fairies have been good to us in a sort of way, but you worry that if the fixture fairies have been good to us, they could also have been not kind to us as well, because if the certain results don't go our way, then you scratch it and go, what do we do now?
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, we had a decent start to the season as well after the Chelsea game. We had a good run of matches there, and the results didn't go our way then. Listen, I think this season is going to be ups and downs. We are going to get the games against like the Chelsea in the Cup and Liverpool where we get performances or results beyond what we're expecting. But I think equally so, we're going to get disappointing games like Bournemouth today. It's going to be a topsy-turvy season for United.
Yeah, indeed it is. We're going to get to some of your comments in a second. We're just figuring out, get some calls in now. So 0345 111 7625. Come and have your say. We should have Matt on the line. Hello, Matt. Matt, are you there? Oh, Paul.
Yeah.
Let's go to Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Yeah. I'm good. How about you?
Have your say, Paul. What do you think, Paul? What's going on with United at the minute?
All right, man. So this is what I think. I think that everybody is making very quick excuses for Ali and the boys. All right. We are not a good team. The problem was that we did not invest into the team. every time we have a very decent performance, everybody goes crazy that, we're pulling it back and everything. We played against Norwich, a very, very, very low team, and we thought we performed and everything. But that's a cheap team. Anybody, any good team, any good side should beat Norwich.
True.
We need to go back into the transfer market this winter and get at least 3 players back into United if we want to have any chance of at least being top 6.
Yep.
Because we need to invest in a very world-class striker. We let go of Lukaku and never replace him, and now we're putting all the pressure on Marcus Rashford. We don't want to ruin the guy's career.
Do you think
we need midfielders.
Do you think that was naive of Solskjaer to be able to let Lukaku go and just go into the season with Martial and Greenwood?
Absolutely. I'm all in. But the biggest mistake, just like when Moise came in, Moise should have kept the coaching staff, and he thought that he was boss enough to do whatever he wanted. And look at what happened to him.
Yeah, I agree.
The same thing, Ollie made a mistake as well.
Yeah.
He should have never let Lukaku go. Right now, Pogba doesn't want to play for us because if I'm Pogba, I'm sitting down I look at the team around me and I know we're not making any progress with that team. I'm going to look so bad. And he's thinking about his value. I don't fault Pogba for what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
When you put Pogba in this team, he's not going to do anything. You can put Messi in this team and he can't do anything with it.
What a statement there by Paul. Hey, Paul, calling all the way from the United States. Thank you very much for watching. I know you're a fan of Full-Time Devils. Paul, there were some big points. I mean, Matt on the line. We've actually got you now, Matt. Messi goes into this team. He's not doing anything?
Yeah. How you guys? How you doing?
Yeah, thank you very much for your call, Matt. It's good to speak to you.
Yeah, and yourself. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, obviously, gutted with the result against Bournemouth today, obviously. Knowing going there, that was going to be all consider how good Bournemouth are at home, obviously. Going to be a tough place to go to, should I say.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I think with today's result, obviously we beat Norwich last Sunday. Credit to us beating Chelsea in the cup in midweek. But obviously now we just need to brush ourselves down after this defeat.
There's been a lot of defeats, Matt. We've got to brush ourselves down over. Do you not think?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, only way we're going to get back into this top 4 would be, if we want to get Champions League football again next season. Anything I can really think of would be, going all out and, getting to the Europa League final again, basically.
Yeah, that's a big ask, that, though.
And obviously with, by what I'm only guessing by what I'm seeing on social media, but obviously, yes, I think this, when you see a lot of these, I don't know how true these rumours are, mind you, but obviously I've been seeing a lot of rumours about this.
The Saudis.
Basically about turning, was it 3 billion down, was it, to take over the club, was it?
Yeah, there's all sorts flying about, man. I don't know what is true and what is not. We've got to cut through that. But Matt, thank you for your call, and I'm sure you represent a lot of United fans now, and you think to yourself, where do you really go from here? Matt's called us on Full-Time Devils. You can do the same. It's 0345 111 7625. Come and have our say with our kid here for another 20 minutes. Like Ben has give us a call. Hello, Ben. You okay, mate?
No, not really. Not after today.
Mate, you're representing a lot of United fans there. So you're watching the game, the frustration's going through your mind, and you come on here. What do you want to say, mate?
I just want to vent, man. I can't believe
this is exactly what this is for, Ben. Vent away.
Against Bournemouth. Do you know how hard it is to masturbate watching Man United now? I can't even ejaculate.
Wow.
I don't really know what that
is. Other channels, Ben.
I can't even have a wank watching Man United.
Ben, I think wank is probably the best way to describe that.
Tyrone Mings, man. Imagine having to wank over Tyrone Mings.
I really...
Wow.
That's so hard.
Wow.
So hard.
Well, I don't know if that hard is the right word. Ben,
I was bashing out on the floppy.
Stop talking about masturbating over United.
Ben.
Start talking about the players. Do you think they're any good?
All right. The reason I mentioned masturbation is because Man United is wank. I can't believe the way we're playing now, man. Cannot believe the way. See, that's all leading into something. The way we're playing. The only way we'll make Champions League football is if we win the Europa, but we ain't gonna win it. I reckon Wolves got a better chance of winning it.
If we do win it, you'll have one special day to yourself there, mate, won't you? A load of candles lit and everything.
Barry White on
like candles, run a little bubble bath, everything. Treat myself.
Wow,
mate. Is there any shining light with this United team?
Jesse, look now. James, that's it. James. That's all I can say. James. Maybe De Gea, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, looking at where our team are in terms of this season, Bournemouth only been beat one. I'm just trying to look at positives, and Bournemouth only been beat once at their ground this season. That was by Man City. So and the weather was terrible today. Is there anything that we can push on from here? What would you change out of the lineup?
Well, out of the lineup, I don't know. Just wait until January. That's all I can say, because we don't really have a lot of options, do we?
No, we don't.
James is our best prospect, and he came like summer. That's it, from the Championship side.
Listen, Ben, since you've called, the phone lines are lit up like a Christmas tree. So I don't know if your masturbation talk has really got people going. But Ben, thank you very much for your call today. Any final words on the phone in? Any final words on the phone in?
Have I found a way to the phone in?
Any final words of the phone in before you say goodbye?
Don't support Man City. Keep supporting Man United. No glory hunters here, mate.
No glory hunters here. Ben, thank you very much. James, how do you watch Man United? With a bubble bath and a candle? James?
Hello?
Yeah, never mind. James, what did you make of Bournemouth 1, Manchester United 0?
I thought it was a joke, but I don't think it's down to the players. I think Ollie is actually really clueless, and we never should have got him in the first place.
Blimey, so you're coming out all guns blazing there, James. You're saying that Ollie's clueless. Yeah. Anything about his tactics that you can see the future, or are you just like 100% Ollie is not the right man?
Yeah, 100% he's not the right man. When you look at the way he plays, he makes his attacking players press, and his defensive line drop back, so there's like a big gap in the middle. That makes no sense. And when you look at the players, everyone's giving the players stick, saying they're not good enough, but they've all got potential. The only way they'll reach that potential is if they're actually coached. Like if we got Pochettino, for example, someone who actually knows how to get the best out of young players, then maybe we could have gone somewhere.
Well, if we're talking about potential of players, do you not think Solskjaer's got any potential? Obviously, the run that he went on last year, was there nothing in that sort of made you think he might have something that's worth sticking with him for a while, or is there someone else out there like a Pochettino or another manager that you think would come in and do a better job?
Yeah, Pochettino. I never wanted Ollie in the first place, even during that run, because it was so clear that was down to the fact that Jose was such a dead manager.
Yeah.
Like, he's baiting the players and all that. So the players, it was just a feel-good factor, really. But it wasn't down to Ollie's tactics at all.
No.
People say, wait till January, maybe we can get a few players in. But that's not going to make a difference. It don't matter who you have in that team. We've had Lukaku, we've had Sanchez, we've had Pogba, all these top players, but they can't perform.
Question for you then, James. Question for you, right? The new owners coming in, December, and they ask you to be in charge of the board. What are you doing to that United squad? Are you getting rid of Ollie? Are you bringing in some new players? What is your way of dealing with what's going on now at Old Trafford?
Firstly, the first thing I'm doing is getting rid of Ollie and appointing someone who knows how to coach youth players, because we've got a lot of young players. And look, the average age of the squad is at 24. And on top of that, players like Mason, Gomez, Trump, we'll never get to see them actually perform if Ollie's in charge, because no one, they need a coach. So I'll get rid of appoint Poch, and I'll give him 200-300 mil in the summer, and then he can add to that.
Stay there for us, James. Omar's on the line. Omar, James is. Are you right, Omar? James is he's in charge of United. He's getting rid of Ollie straight away. He's putting Poch in charge and giving him 300 million in the summer. Do you agree?
Poch, listen, I think that's probably the next best thing he could get. Do you know what I mean? I think he's probably run out of steam with this Tottenham team that he's got at the moment. But,
do you agree that Ollie's run out of steam?
I think Ollie ran out of steam a long time ago.
So we've got James and Omar both agreeing with each other there.
There's a lot of media bias. I'm not saying it comes from, but I think, listen, the fact that he was a wicked player for us, did a lot for us, but you have to be honest with yourself. If he didn't get that winning goal in '99, why is he not getting the same stick that Mourinho and Van Gaal got?
James, Omar just said then a little point, and obviously you're both on the same line there. Do you agree with Omar saying that if Ollie didn't score that goal in '99, then he won't be under? He would still be United manager. Or do you think he'd get the sack just because of that moment in United history? Is that what's keeping him at the job?
Yeah. 100%. I think if he didn't score that goal, he wouldn't be in the job at all, and fans would have been singing Ollie out ages ago.
because realistically, he's managed to Molde and Cardiff, and he got Cardiff relegated. And if you look at the football, what's the difference between Jose and Oli? If anything, you can even make a case to say Oli's worse.
Could do. James, thank you very much for your call. Omar, you're going to stay with us. Omar, was there anything else you wanted to get off your chest?
I think James just took the words out my mouth. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that. Listen, the football under Jose was terrible, yeah. But I think even then he was probably trying to make the best he could with a bad bunch, yeah. And I mean, arguably, at least when Jose kind of got us, he still almost made progress with us in that second season. And the board didn't back him. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Solskjaer just recently said he's still there.
Yeah, still here, mate. We're just letting you take the wheel, mate. Omar's at the wheel. Omar's at the wheel.
Yeah, I'm not drunk like Oli. But yeah, no, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, the board didn't back him. Solskjaer said, listen, I don't know whether he's just whether he's telling the truth or not, but he said he had control over the transfers this in the summer. So we chose not to get Bruno Fernandes. We could have even got Tielemans. We could have got, you know, I mean, Rabiot was probably going to go Juventus, but he was there on a free. He chose not to get them players.
Do you think this is down to
Herrera? Are you telling me Herrera wouldn't have improved that team today?
Yeah,
Herrera, not Pereira.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Not Pereira.
Yeah, but he was one of our just so we know, just so the line's clear. But you know, like, come on. I mean, Herrera was probably one of our best big game players since what's his name? Since Ferguson left.
Yeah,
that's the truth. You know what I mean? I can't forgive him for that.
Yeah, I think Herrera leaving was a huge thing, but I'm not too sure if that was all on Solskjaer or if it was the board above him, because Herrera said himself that he did want to stay, but they just dithered so long on offering him a new contract. But looking ahead anyway, how long do you give Solskjaer? We're in the position where he is our manager now, and there isn't any obvious replacement. Do you give him till January or a January transfer window to bring more players in like Fernandes?
I think if someone, I mean, listen, Allegri's available. He might not play the best football, but he'll get results. He's available, and he's definitely going to get better results than Oli. And I think right now, at the end of the day, we are rebuilding, but there's no structure to how this team's actually playing. He keeps talking about the youth, but you bring on Mason Greenwood. Before we won those 3 games, he'd bring Mason Greenwood on maybe when we're chasing the game 10 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go. He's not going to do nothing then. He started the season off playing Matic. It took him this long to figure out that maybe McTominay, Fred and Pereira is our best 3, which ultimately isn't a good 3, but it took him that long to realise that he kept playing Pereira out on the wing. Mata, he's passed it. He's the one making these decisions. He's training these players every day.
Yeah.
He should know his best starting lineup. I just think one thing I just want to say is this thing, the media bias. I was just obviously watching the thing on BT, the actual game, and Rio, as much as I love him, saying that there's going to be inconsistency with this team and everything, but he was not saying that when Van Gaal was trying to build a team, and we was passing it sideways, passing it backwards. When Jose was trying to build a team, he wasn't. So I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why Solskjaer's getting different treatment, but it's not right.
No. Omar, thank you very much for your call. Mint call that, mate, and thank you very much for giving your time to Full Time Devils. Danny's going to be up soon, by the way, and then we've got a couple more callers before we wrap things up for about R3 UK time, wherever you're watching. If you want to be the final caller, 0345 111 7625. Come and have your say the final words on Full Time Devils. Danny's up, stay there for us, Danny. But our kid, a lot of frustration, and you can't help but feel like, if this goes on, I could hopefully be here for you every single game afterwards. If the defeats come, the frustration will build, and something will have to happen.
It definitely will. I mean, I think the last couple of results have given Solskjaer a bit of a reprieve, to be honest. Woodward and Co have come out and said that they're going to back Solskjaer and their manager. They did exactly the same thing by offering Mourinho a new contract during that difficult period and then got rid of him. But yeah, the performance has got to turn around because of the fan pressure is going to get more and more, and as less likely it becomes that we're going to reach top 4, top 6. People there on the calls were saying that our best chance of Champions League is to win the Europa League. That's completely... as much as I'd love that's such a fantasy. There's no way on earth we're going to be doing that. It's a scary road ahead. He's got to turn it around by winning the next game.
Yeah, indeed. Right, Danny. How you doing, Danny? You okay, mate?
All good, lads. Yourselves?
Yeah.
Very well, Danny. Come and have a chat with us then, Danny. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking get Ibra back.
Get Ibra back?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, get him back.
So when would you? Obviously, you're getting back, and then would that help us? Are you saying is that what? I mean, obviously, it's not a permanent plan, but it gets us through to the end of the season.
At the minute, nothing's going to help us. But I mean, if we get Ibrahimovic back, at least we've got options, you know.
And in terms of the strikers at the minute, who do you see getting dropped? Because obviously, we had a front three of James, Rashford, and Martial. Who makes way for Ibra up top?
I would like to see the three lads continue because there's something there. You know, there's a good partnership there with all three of them, especially on the counter. We're very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
But I just think you look back over the last couple of weeks when we were operating with Rashford up front, James, there was just nothing there, you know. I think if we have Ibrahimovic, then we can just have a wee bit more quality up top.
Do you see that Ollie's still in charge of this team with Ibrahimovic up top?
It's a tough one to say because obviously Ibrahimovic comes with a lot of power, a lot of what's the word, ego. But
yep.
I mean, it's difficult to say really. I think we could talk about potential signings in January, but realistically, we're not going to get anybody in until the summer because clubs are very reluctant to sell in the January transfer window.
Yeah.
So I just think, in terms of who we can bring in January, Zlatan's a realistic target.
I think Zlatan brings more than just his performances on the pitch. Obviously, if he was to return to Old Trafford, I don't think he'd be starting every game. But I think when he left to go to LA Galaxy, I think we lost a lot of Paul Pogba because I think Pogba can't. I don't think he likes being the man on the pitch in terms of what everyone relies on. But when Pogba and Zlatan played together, I think that worked really well. So for in terms of having a presence in the board, you were talking earlier on, Joe, about having a captain or a leader. Yeah. That's what we missed since Zlatan, and I don't think that's been replaced. But again, has Solskjaer got the personality to deal with a Zlatan? Like, he's not Jose Mourinho, do you know?
Yeah, indeed. Danny, thank you very much for your call. Right, come and have a chat with us. 0345 111 7625 as we round things up. McCullough will be outside the ground as we speak, talking to United fans. So Fancams will be on their way for full-time Devils, and we will obviously give you your say. If you weren't at the ground today, you're watching, you were at the ground and you're on the way back and didn't see Adam McCullough for a little chat, 0345 111 7625. Where do United go from here? Obviously, there's a lot of pressure. It seems like the corner has been turned, but then the defeat happens against Bournemouth. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer starts the next game with the same team and a draw or even defeat happens, you start to question then where do we go from now till Christmas, and could it be a roller coaster that no one wants to get on? Yeah, well, I think it'd be a roller coaster that's going to be only going in one direction. To be honest, if we're to lose or draw the next game, he's got nowhere to hide, and this is the issue with having such a thin squad. Do you know what I mean? When we're not scoring goals or making chances, he is relying a lot on the young players coming in, and he's made his bed now and he's got to lie with it. So if we aren't getting the results, then yes, we can blame the players on the pitch to an extent, but it's happened in the past where the manager has had to go. So it's going to be a tough run towards January for him to stay in the job if we aren't going to start pulling the results in. Because who've we got next, Joe? So we've got a little look at the games here. Partizan next in the Europa League. That's at home, so Old Trafford. Then we got Brighton coming to us next Sunday. That is at home again. We travel to Sheffield United. We go away to Astana, and then we play Aston Villa again at home before a big home match against Tottenham. So you say them 5 games: Partizan, Brighton, Sheffield United, Astana, and Aston Villa should be winnable. We go. I mean, the home ones definitely. But I think Sheffield United, if you watch how they played against Liverpool, they give Liverpool their hardest game this season. So I don't think we'll go to Bramall Lane and get an easy game there at all. Villa have got some fantastic players. The trip to Astana as well, so we come back from there on the 28th. That's what is it, like a 400-hour big old play journey. And then after that, so if he doesn't get maximum points from them games, you're looking at, we've got Tottenham, City and Everton. Yeah, it is. You know, it's going into January. Who wants to have their say? 0345 111 7625. Just a couple of minutes left. You can be the last Manchester United fan to have their say on the fanzine today. The phone in before we wrap things up and pass the baton over to Bacola, who'll be doing your fan cams. The November December fixtures are looking tough. You've got obviously Colchester United in the quarterfinals, but I mean, if anything happens there, God heaven forbid. But you could be in the semi-finals of Carabao Cup, though. I mean, is there positives from this? Could we put a couple of upsets against maybe Spurs? I mean, even City in the derby. Who knows what could happen there? City have been so dominant recently of later years, though. But what happens if this run of form really gets on top of Solskjaer?
He's got he's got to become under the axe, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We were talking before, people like Pochettino is having pressure at Spurs. Is there a possibility that they can go and get him? Allegri's been out of contract since he left Juventus. Now there's a manager that's won Champions Leagues. So the pressure's really going to get on. It's not so much the Spurs and Man City games for me, because I think in some ways we're not expected to get points against the likes of City, whilst we would really like to. But I just don't think our team has the ability to get the 3 points there. But Sheffield United away, Villa at home, I just think if he starts dropping points there and we just fall further and further off the pace, then it's going to be hard to justify why he's still in the job in January.
When Pogba steps back in, does anything happen differently for you in your eyes?
Is Pogba stepping back in? To be honest, I was thinking about this today, because before Bournemouth scored, you could sort of see a collective group of players that are playing for each other.
Yeah. Now,
Pogba, with all his talent, does come with the sort of, for me, I always see that United put all the pressure on him, and then everything has to go through Pogba.
Mm-hmm.
He's undoubtable talent, but there's rumours that he wants to be going to Real Madrid in January. If we start putting him back in the team in the beginning of December, and then January comes around, the Real Madrid start messing around and start, it just messes things around again. So it's the circus that goes along with Paul Pogba.
Our final call of the night. I think I'm saying in the car here. Can I say that, or am I saying it? Your car here?
Yeah, that's why I told them I spelled my name phonetically.
Right. So I did it right then. Right. So tell me then, you're the last caller on the phone in today before we wrap things up and hand to Adam McCullough with the Fancams.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about United's performance today?
I think this performance is actually typical of the Solskjaer era, and I think that while he's a club legend, I think that the problems we have at the club are something he's a byproduct of, and I don't think he'll ever be the solution. The club is suffering from a culture of incestuous cronyism mixed with a bit of xenophobia. If you look at the way Gary Neville picks on Martial, the way he picks on Pogba, and then all this BS about Pogba faking injury. And I think that someone like Allegri is definitely the solution. He's available right now. Pogba's actually had his best performances in his career under the management of Allegri.
Yep.
And I think that if he brings in someone like Evra, maybe that's a way of getting Woodward out from within, because Evra is not his biggest fan. People will say, oh yeah, he talks to him, but remember, he revealed that he almost beat the man up, and I think he's crazy enough to go the full 9 yards if he's provoked again.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, though, getting Woodward out from the inside. If and when Solskjaer does get the sack, what does that say about Woodward? Does that forces the Glazers' hand for his position?
I think either way, Woodward is, excuse my French, effed. He either sticks with Ollie, who has unfortunately become a puppet, and it's tarnished his legacy for me, because to me, Solskjaer's legendary status wasn't just 99, it was 2005 when he stood up against the Glazers. Now he's lying on their behalf. And either way, he sticks with Ollie, he goes down with the ship. If Allegri comes in, everyone says, oh, any manager would fail. I don't think so, because he's a smart man, and he could easily use Woodward's actions as a negotiating tool. You did this to Jose, you did it to Van Gaal, you did it to a club legend. I want assurances you're going to be kept the hell away from the football side.
Yeah, indeed. Right, I've got to say, Kai, you were min last caller, mate, and thank you very much for coming on Full Time Devils and giving us your say. We're going to be here every single game afterwards to make sure that the fans have their say about whatever happened. If it's a win, lose, draw, me and our kid will be sat here and we're having a chat with you. I'm going to thank you everyone for calling in today, everyone for watching as well. It's a difficult time for United fans, but bring it on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's next game in charge is, of course, in the Europa League, and then next weekend against Brighton. Do you want to give us a little chat about, or a little say in the next 2 games? Is it 2 wins on the bounce?
It should be 2 wins. Looking at the opposition, but it should have been a win today. Looking at the opposition today, so who knows? Got to get the 3 points on Thursday, and then we'll take it from there. I think every game's critical now, but just the last caller, incestuous cronyism.
Incestuous cronyism or whatever.
That's a new description for our club.
It is. Thank you very much, our kid. Go check our kid out. Myself, I've been Joe McGrath. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll leave you there. Manchester United were beaten 1-0 by Bournemouth.
Bad days.
See you later, everyone. See you, bye.